name is Jonas. I'm working within a net company. I'm based in Copenhagen, and I'm a program manager. So I'm normally leading a big bunch of good IT people, but that's not really the most important part about me. I'm also a developer. And I've been a professional developer for many years. I've been an IT architect, and I have been curious about IT development ever since the early days of the internet. I look like this on a good day without my sunburns and everything. I brought with me Morten, who's standing next to me here. This is Morten on a good day. But we'll get a little bit back to Morten soon. What I would like to tell you about today is why we in Netcompany consider ourselves as one of the most ambitious IT consultancy companies in Northern Europe, and how we keep staying on the forefront of our success. Yes, so we started back in 2000, the year of 2000. It was the IT bubble. It was about to burst. It was hard times to start up a company. IT consultancy company, if you don't know it, basically it's going out, seeing a new business area, developing some genius solution for them onto the new project. We have the luxury of very often being able to select what tech, what architecture, the people going into the project. We have a lot of freedom in that way, and that's super nice that we can all the time utilize new tech. But it also requires us to stay on the forefront on what should be used and what is right. But back to the year of 2000, and we started the company. It was a tough time, so when I joined in 2011, 11 years later, they were only 230 people. And as you can see the numbers up there now, we are more than 6,000 nowadays. So in the last 10 years, we have multiplied our employee number 25 times. And that's pretty crazy. In 2011, I started in Copenhagen. We had 2 offices in the western part of Denmark, and you can see up here now. Now we're everywhere. We're also in Delft, and we've been spending Morten and I a day in Delft in our beautiful office there. So we have grown a lot. Yes. So how do we do it? What's our secret to being able to grow like this? Because we're actually also earning money. I think it's in the number up there somewhere. So I would boil it down to 2 things. We have been very lucky because we have gathered a lot of IT talent. And where good people are, good people want to be, right? It's very often like that. And then second of all, we ask of our developers, we ask of our employees to be ambitious about themselves and want to grow themselves. And that's why I brought in Morten, because he's one of these talents that we have. Morten is working as a team manager. You're leading on a daily basis, what, between 10 and 20 developers?
Depending on the day, sure.
But Morten is not further from the code than it's not many months ago that you took some weeks and you helped out the guys because they were a little slow on the development. And it was not performing all as it should be. So you dropped your team lead title for a couple of weeks and you developed some code. And I also found out that you did a performance test on top of the user acceptance test. He actually deployed the new component and he put on 5,000 virtual users while the client they were completing that test. It tells a little bit about Morten, how bold he is. And he never got any approval for this, but he's normally a good guy, so I hope we have something interesting to hear from Morten later on. Yes, but the other thing that is important for our success in Netcompany is that we are ambitious as a company. And we always want to be better at what we do. development, giving the client a better service. But basically, it's no secret that we want to grow even more. We want to multiply another 10 times. So how do you do that? We are already 6,500 employees. So obviously, we need to stay ambitious and on the forefront of what is trending out there. And what we saw, for instance, 10 years ago, we looked into Gartner, and they had the application pace layer model. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I was pretty hot back then. They're inspired by how architects, they consider different properties of buildings and their maintainability on that. If you don't know it, look it up. It's super cool. That was 10 years ago. Now, we were looking at how do we scale the next 10 times. And in October 20, Gartner came up with a new concept. They call it Composable enterprise. And it was driven by what we heard about earlier. We had a little phenomenon called COVID. And we saw how, we had a planet-wide disruption of markets, right? Some companies went bankrupt, other companies were thriving. But the whole idea about composable architecture and composable enterprise is the ability to adapt to things more quickly. So you build your enterprise in modules, and you're able to change only that module in order to adapt to a new business opportunity, for instance. We saw that idea in Gartner's article at that time, and we thought we should make an initiative on this because we can transpose it into the way we build software. And I instantly I think I caught the idea of it at least. And bear with me here, I'll try this on you, and if you don't get it, then it's just me who's insane. But I was thinking when I heard about this phenomenon, I was thinking back to Star Wars Episode 1. And we have, is it Qui-Gon and Anakin Skywalker? They come into this junkyard, this scrap yard, and there's a flying insect called Watto. And they want a T-14 hyper generator or something like that. I don't know why I come to think about this exactly, but the funny thing is that you are from a foreign planet, you landed in your spaceship, and funny enough, there's a flying insect that has the spare part for you. And I was thinking, actually, it would be quite cool to be able to make the software component that some kind of alien come and ask for on a foreign planet in the future. How can we get there? I mean, I could also have used an example like a car or a washing machine that also have spare parts, right? But the Star Wars thing is kind of cool, I think. I don't know if you get it, but the idea is, why can't we build software like we build Lego?
Exactly, Lego.
We all love Lego, right? But if we start, instead of building applications to the bespoke purpose of what our client is needing, what if we start thinking about Lego instead? So we build the pieces, and then we put the pieces together, and we hand it over to the client. Then we should have shortcut the next time we're doing something. And now you're thinking, well, he's talking about business and selling stuff and like that. But actually, I think that's a good angle to being a developer. I mean, don't we all want to make something that's general, that's not bespoke to something that can be configured into different applications instead of working in a single application setup? I like that, at least. And also, I like the idea of my software components, my software in general, to be something that's not aimed for the next 4 or 5 years or whatever is the standard life cycle of most of the software that we build, unfortunately, right? But I like that my little software child can be grown upon and can be used for different purposes. And hopefully somebody will ask for it on a foreign planet in the future. But that idea, we took that and we implemented it into Netcompany, and we called it the Composable Enterprise framework. Basically, it's all about us starting to think about building Lego blocks of our software instead of this bespoke applications. Obviously, we can get things out faster if we have a big library of components, and that's something we can get because we do so many projects, and we have a limited, synergy between the projects. So if we are to be even bigger, if we are to compete with Accenture or some of the really big players on the market, we need to think about how we utilize what we have already, or else we basically have the same, possibilities as much smaller companies. So this is the strategy behind how we're thinking. Hopefully then we have some robust software components that we can use at a client that have been tested, and we can configure it like Lego with others and deliver a solution way faster than our competitors. So that's how we're thinking. And I brought Morten because Morten have a concrete example on how we took this idea of building software Lego blocks. We started a project a couple of years ago, and from the very beginning of this project, we were thinking about how can we reutilize some of these components instead of just using this software solution in the airport. Can we create some synergy? Can we reutilize some of our enormous amount of work that we are doing for the airport? So, Morten, could you please take us through the case of the Copenhagen airport, one of our
I definitely
clients.
will. So I will do what Jonas explains here. I'll take it a little bit from the high level in Star Wars, and I'll bring it into an actual project that we built in Netcompany. And you might ask, what is AIRHART? And AIRHART is a platform. It's a component-based, data-driven platform that was born out of the need for a new airport traffic operational system. And it connects all the stakeholders in the airport together with the same data, so they can work together and have a better situational awareness of what's going on in there. It connects all the airlines, it connects all the handlers as baggage handlers, and it connects the passengers as well. So you can say, when looking at AIRHART, just to get an idea of what we've actually built, you can see it's taking care of all the turnaround process for planes coming in and flights leaving. It's doing all the actions that are needed to actually manage flights on a daily basis. But it's also collecting data and making big data analysis to be able to better forecast what's going to happen in an hour, what's going to happen in a day, in a week, or maybe even a year. So we did this with a big vision in mind. We want to be able to do this for different airports. We want to do this for different projects altogether as well, different business domains. And we chose this tech stack that you see up here. But it's not just for this project that we do this. It's basically for every project we run in Netcompany. We always choose the tech stack that best fits the needs of the business. So here for this one, we knew that we were going to build a lot of components. So obviously we chose some kind of Kubernetes to run together. We based it on the Azure stack and on the Azure Cloud. So when we go back to the first 5 points that we saw on the previous opening slides, that I think this project encompasses all of them. So we chose to go with Kubernetes and using Kafka as the messaging bus that we talk between the components with. And in general, we just run a pretty neat technological stack in this project. I hear a little snickering out and about, but we do have a lot of cool tech in this project, and we had to rebuild some of it over and over again because the technology was going so fast that they made new stuff before we can manage to build the platform on top of it and make it ready. So we actually had to upgrade a bunch of these things before we were ready with the platform, and that shows the strength of building on top of open source, like we heard before. Building on top of open source, being able to see, wow, there's a new version that actually solves the issues that we had. We had open tickets with things like Kafka to say, we actually want this, there's a bug in your system, or there's a feature that we want from you. They implemented that so they could support us in our business. So AIRHART is built of components, but it's not just technical components, it's features and components as well. So what you see here is all the red hexagons we see down here. Those are all the core features that the platform comes with whenever we go to a new airport. This is the main package that we come with. And then we can pick and choose from all the blue ones up here. So you can see for this particular one, I've chosen that we've picked out 3 different custom modules, custom business features to add to this platform, only in this particular business case. For another airport or for another project, it would be a different set of modules or different set of features that we will add. So I'm going to dive a little bit more into the technology here, because as Jonas said, I was part of the design phase, and I was part of designing and building a lot of the components that are in this platform here. So I'm going to focus a little bit about what's in the center here, the matching and enrichment engine, and I'm going to draw parallels to some of the other things here, especially the core data assets that we all know as the master data, all the data that is available in the system. So when diving deeper, you can say, why do we need all this? And it's because airports are crazy data-driven. We receive more than 200,000 messages each day containing information about all sorts. So they come from different areas. They come from different sensors on the ground, radars. They come from IoT and camera. They come from different businesses, different stakeholders, airlines and handlers sending in messages, people coming through the user interface, entering, and they come from our AI models as well, predicting things. So there's a lot of data coming together and enriching and making the model great. So when you can say, we receive these 200,000 messages, they're matched up against the entities we have in the system. Right now we're talking about flights. So we're talking about flights, and we might talk about the operations that are happening in the airport. So we receive all these data, and we match them intelligently to the entities that we have in the system. And then we use all the insight, all the analysis that I talked about earlier, all the data, all the history, we use that to enrich further the values that we have in here. And what's difficult about this and what's cool about this and what we really want to focus on here is that when we receive so many different types of data, so many different types of messages, and they can all touch upon the same fields in the data model, they can all touch upon the same little field, we put our trust in what we call the prioritization. And we use intelligent prioritization to find out what's the best value for this particular field. So there's an example here that everybody knows flights, the takeoff time. That can be a lot of different input to that. That can be the handler or the airline telling, we expect the plane to take off here. Or it can be the radar saying, you know what, the plane is actually on the runway. It's about to take off. There's a lot of data coming in here. We can have the user enter as well, and we can have the AI and prediction models saying, we actually expect this plane to take off exactly here, and then we can use the history to see who's actually more correct, and the models get better and better over time. So move on to this one. And we do this, how to say, through these data processing pipelines. So I talked earlier about we had flights, but we also have all kinds of other entities in our system. And we process these through what we call our data processing pipelines. So when we receive a new message, for instance, for flight data, and we receive new messages about IoT information, whatever it is that we receive, we process them through our configurable pipelines. And each pipeline is scaled individually because it's a microservice architecture. They're put on individual queues based on their needs here. And when they come through the pipeline, we look up into our data or assets, into our master data. We use our prediction models to best be able to enrich further based on these fields. But I would actually like to take the time now here to present a short, albeit it's a promotional video, but to show you a little bit about what AIRHART actually is all about. So for 2 minutes, please enjoy, and then we'll come back after.
Time for change. Time to take control. Too often, we feel we're lagging behind, chasing time. We tend to be responding instead of initiating, reacting instead of acting. Time is precious, and in an airport, every second counts. With intelligent use of data and machine learning, we make smarter and faster decisions in order to be proactive. AIRHART is a truly data-driven platform, providing a single source of truth, permitting smooth and effective operations. It allows all stakeholders to foresee what's coming and when. simple configuration ensures that ideas come alive in a safe, smart, and secure manner. AIRHART is a modern, flexible, and composable platform for data-driven airport operations, connecting every step of a turnaround from check-in to takeoff. We empower ambitious, innovative airports to face the complex challenges of tomorrow by seizing opportunities. With modern technology, we do more with less. AIRHART. Embrace change.
All right. And Jonas?
Yes. So it's no secret that obviously we're here to tell about ourselves because we always want to grow. We always want new people who want to grow. We always want new skilled people to be part of making some kick-ass new solutions. So that's why we are here. We have a stand right outside to the right, and we would love to have some discussions with you there. We also have a bike that you can win, by the way. You're also fans of bikes like we are in Denmark here. So there's a cool bike out there. If you want to hear more about our Composable Enterprise Framework, you can just find our website and go to the private sector, and it will be the top news in there. We have a white paper that has been devised by us on our strategy on how to utilize the Composable Enterprise Architecture. So I think that was basically it. So thank you for your time, and I hope to see you out there.